Catherine, it's so great to sit down and talk to you about How's the Weather campaign, because you've been a driving force in this campaign from the beginning. And, 6 months into the campaign, it's at a point where there's some good news. And, it doesn't solve all the world's problems, and certainly not all the issues facing women who are living in homelessness in our community. But there is progress, and there is some good news, and I'd love it if you'd share it with us.
Certainly. It's rather astonishing, actually, because this is an age-old problem. It's not something new in our community, but I think How's the Weather has allowed us to engage in a new stream of dialogue and to include more people in that dialogue. And I think that what we have been able to demonstrate is that, first of all, there's a critical issue in our community, and that solutions are possible and absolutely necessary, because the fact is homelessness can be fatal for women. The good news is that with the assistance of federal funding, we have launched a pilot project called Project SOS, Supporting Our Sisters, in which we have developed an integrated service model with transitional housing providers and emergency shelter providers who respond to the needs of single homeless women. And we are providing a level of intensive support and housing navigation with women who have multiple barriers to housing, and successfully seeing women become housed. That in and of itself is a real victory. We have served about 178 women in that program with very high needs in the first year, and about 90% of them have maintained their housing past 3 months from their initial placement in new housing. So that's really something to celebrate.
That's wonderful. And has your experience been that, because of the dialogue, you said the new stream of dialogue that's happening, hearing from women who have direct lived experience, hearing from men who feel like they can be a part of this discussion, because we all have sisters and mothers and daughters and aunts and grandmothers and nieces and we cousins who are women. Do you feel as though this is a place that can be built from, that this campaign can continue to help the women, not just in Hamilton, but maybe right across Canada at some point?
Absolutely, and I think you raise a very important point. I think sometimes when we talk about applying a gender analysis to an issue like homelessness, people perceive that as being polarizing or somehow minimizing the concerns of homeless men or homeless youth, for example. The reality is that we all need to be allies in these struggles with each other, and the voices of men in addressing issues of women's homelessness are incredibly important. In terms of this campaign being a foundation, I absolutely think so, and we're seeing that in Hamilton currently as a result of the work that we're doing at the Women's Planning Collaborative. We have seen some new investments, both from HPS funding, federal funding, as I mentioned before, an additional $50,000 invested in the work of Project SOS, as well as provincial funds that are managed by the City of Hamilton to the tune of about $130,000 being invested in frontline housing advocacy in our emergency shelter, Mary's Place. That is showing results. The results are remarkable. In the first 6 weeks of that housing program in our emergency shelter, we saw 17 women housed in the community.
That's amazing. Well, there's much more work to be done, but How's the Weather is a small part in getting that dialogue going, and you do tremendous work to help the women every day. So thank you, Katherine.
Well, thank you for your voice in this. It's very important.
Well, my pleasure.